And then, welcome to my thousands and thousands of viewers on Facebook and my dozens of people here in the building. It's good to have you guys here. This is our second week of Talko Tuesday. Last week happened to just be Falafel Tuesday. We'll switch it up every once in a while, but it is Talko Tuesday. Tonight was more of the vegetarian version. We apologize. We'll switch it up for all you meat fans out there also, while still having vegetarian options. So that's of course we have to do that. So it's very exciting to be back. We for about a year, I would say, before COVID, we had something called the Schmorg, Jupro Schmorg. We came every Tuesday night. We had some pizza sometimes, some dinner, and then we do a similar kind of thing where we called it like a smorgasbord of food and classes. So little snippets led by my wife and myself, and we just a little tag team. So fortunately, we happen to live across the street, so do a little tag. When my time is up, she's going to come. I'm going to go, and then you'll get us about 20 to 30 minutes for each class. So awesome, yeah. So before I begin, and I was just talking to some of the folks here about just some shameless plugs. I have to if you haven't checked out the Real TikTok Rabbi yet on TikTok, I'm becoming kind of a big deal on TikTok. Pretty soon, not pretty soon, I'm halfway to being able to go live like Shira is able to do. So I'm working, and I made a great video last night about a glorious event when the general manager of the Rockies stepped down, and I ended my boycott. So that's good for Jupro, because now Jupro will have baseball games to go to, and we'll go enjoy the sunset over the mountains and watch the lousy baseball team play. So it's been a great, that was just tremendous. I was very excited. And without further ado, we should get started. So what we began actually a couple weeks ago, before we were actually in person, but I want to continue along the same theme. Currently, we're in this period of mourning in which we mourn over the death of Rabbi Akiva's 24,000 students who died in a plague because the Talmud says that they weren't respectful to each other. So now is a time for self-growth. I believe Sarah's going to talk more about the deep meaning of all of that. And there's a custom during this time of year to learn Pirkei Avos. Pirkei Avos is Ethics of Our Fathers, in which there's profound life wisdom pertaining to all areas of life in these amazing 6 chapters. So I thought, at least during these days now, we will go ahead and learn some of the wisdom therein. And so I thought that's what we do. Happens to be Thursday night is Lag BaOmer, in which it's a short. It's actually a big celebration. The plague stopped on that day, and there's all kinds of programs happening. We're going to be going to the Lowry Beer Garden for a happy hour to celebrate, and should be a nice evening. So that's about it. Without further ado, we'll dig in. So there's a particularly awesome Mishnah that I really like. There's a question in life that comes up in which how do we view work? How do we approach our jobs and work? What's the ideal way to go about that? On one hand, a person has to work, like it or not. You gotta, make it work. You gotta make ends meet. On the other hand, ideally, to what extent do we need to love what we do? And Pirkei Avos, I think, weighs in on this question a little bit, and I wanted to go into that tonight. So there's a couple interesting Mishnayos here in the first chapter. One of which says from Shemaiah that a person has to love Ohev es hamalacha. You have to love work. So it could, I think on the surface that means the concept of working is very important, because when a person is working, he or she's being very they're exerting themselves, they're exercising their potential, they're achieving, they're working on themselves to give back to society, and that can be very fulfilling. the commentaries say when a person doesn't work, it leads to boredom and immorality. People can get into trouble when they're not busy, when they don't have work to go to, and they don't have much going on. So on one level, just the concept of work is something to love, something to like. We have some, you guys welcome. We have some food in the back, help yourselves, and then some chairs in the periphery this evening. All right. But what I wanted to look at tonight is a specific Mishnah, which says Antignos is Socho, that there's a rabbi named Antignos from Socho, and he said the following thing. He said, don't be like a servant who serves their master not on condition not to get any reward. Right? So don't be like that person who just works on condition that he's going to get paid. That's the only reason you're doing it. Rather, you should be like a servant who serves their master not as if they even wouldn't get a reward. And the awe of heaven should be upon you. Because I want to break this down a little bit. The Mishnah seems to say, like, ideally, in the perfect world, you should serve your master, you should serve your boss, or really what this means is like serve God as if there's no payment at the end. Okay, now we need to clarify that in Judaism, it's one of our principal core beliefs that there is reward at the end, right? That we believe in an afterlife. We believe that we get reward, this eternal reward based on the good that we do in this world. So just to speak that out, lest anyone get confused, that is a core principle belief. The Rambam writes about it in the 13 Principles of Faith, and it's something that we absolutely believe that we do get payment at the end. However, what he's saying is that ideally, you shouldn't be like one of those people. You shouldn't only do good for the reward. Now we know there is reward coming, but you shouldn't only do it for the reward that's coming. So there's a whole lot to say on this, and something to point out again. Oops, 1 second.